Hi everybody, hope you're doing great. I've got a 15-minute session I'm doing for a client today. Distance, psychic wisdom, and energy healing. The goals, we're focusing on fear of success. I'm going to read those goals here in just a minute. I want to thank you so very much. Thank you for booking this as a video, sharing with us here on YouTube so we can navigate this with you. Thank you for sharing what's going on in your world, what you're looking to conquer, giving me a chance to help you with that, and that we are all gaining something here today. Thank you so much for the courage to share and to explore this with me and with us. So I'm going to read your goals here, then we're going to dive in, okay? Okay, my intention is I want to shed some light on my fear of success. I think in my mind, success, or even just being seen, is linked to attack, humiliation, or just the deafening absence of any reliable mirror. Okay. Just to be seen. Fear of success. Just to be seen. Okay. It can be linked to attack, humiliation. So the deafening absence of any reliable mirror. So it's how do you see yourself clearly? Okay, so I get to be a reliable mirror. Cool. All right, I want to understand what attitude I should take towards this persecution fear. Okay, what's the attitude? How do you face it? All right, it's like there's something I'm ashamed of perhaps, or some aspect of myself that feels I deserve contempt and reinforces that narrative. All this being said, I now want to look at this in the light of honesty, change, faith, courage, regeneration, transmutation, acceptance of my flaws, and illumination of a clear and balanced perspective. Rather than focus too heavily on any sort of persecution victim narrative. We both know I have explored that rabbit hole quite a bit already. I'd also like to ask God if I'm meant to vocalize my strong opinions. Okay. Or simply live by my values humbly and peacefully. Lately, it's getting harder and harder to know what should be spoken and what should be acted upon silently. Okay, somehow I feel all this ties together, but I'm not sure how. All right. All right, I feel like you did a good job of really putting some language to your experience here. I'm going to relax. We're just going to see what comes up about this. Fear of success, them being seen. So we're exposed to your existence. To be seen. To be seen. It's like here you are standing before all of our eyes, but we turn up our nose as we're exposed to your existence. I find that to be an interesting idea that's coming to my mind here, and just digesting your words and creating just a creative space where I put you in it, exposed to your fear of, let's say you're a successful person and you're seen now by the world, but we're exposed to you, yuck. Right now I'm just gathering myself and I'm putting the information out to the universe, and it's just one thing where my mind is going. All right, I'm going to silence that. I'm welcoming the universe. I'm welcoming God, your perspective on this. What is the language? What is the viewpoint? What is the healing? What is the attitude we're trying to achieve here? To help change your life today. To help get you where you want to go. The reason why you booked this session. Okay. There's a saw blade. And it's like, here's a frisbee being tossed horizontally. Well, this saw blade's pretty deadly and it's being thrown vertically. So here, it's going to slice me in two pieces, but I dodge and it goes and it hits this wood beam behind me. And there's another one I have to dodge the other way. And I'm starting to notice it's like one of those machines that shoots out the tennis ball. It seems to be shooting out saw blades. And I'm having to dodge all these saw blades. That I've got to make progress. So the closer I get to this machine, the harder it is really to dodge these saw blades. Because there's less distance. There's less time to adapt. Less reaction time. It's far more dangerous to get closer to this machine. It'd be better for us to like back away from the machine, get further back there, okay? Maybe even go over that way to the right or that way to the left, so we're out of the zone of the saw blades. But the path requires you to face what then is facing you, okay? And tossing these saw blades at you is dangerous. You're having to dodge. Now my guides show me we're going to make this a little more challenging. You're not going to be allowed to dodge, and you're going to feel one of these saw blades actually, it's almost like shave off some of your flesh here. You are defeated instantly. You let yourself down. You've harmed yourself because you weren't fast enough, perceptive enough to avoid that problem. You couldn't count on yourself to keep yourself safe. You're really down about it. I'm kind of looking at this perplexed because this represents life or death. And I have a feeling these saw blades would be like criticism. Is it the outside world's criticism of you, or the potential success that might then create that criticism, the saw blades, or the criticism that cuts you down, that you're not strong enough to avoid it or to dodge it or to be perceptive enough or whatever? It's too much trying to plan around the possibilities of, and then enduring the possibility is already cutting you down. And is it fabricated? Is it imaginative? Is it real? This whole space, it just times out and it shatters into a bunch of pieces. And everything becomes still, and I find myself stuck in this boat. I'm in the same old boat. That's the way it feels, that the pond is still. And there's a pull in the water. I just want the fish to bite. It's almost like something to do when there's nothing to do. The feeling of this place, it looks beautiful, it looks peaceful, it looks relaxing, but it feels mundane, it feels everyday, it feels it's always like this. Quiet, still, unsuccessful even. It's like there aren't any fish in this pond. They keep going out and trying to fish. All right, there's a lot to be said here. There's so much starting to pour in. There's a lot. I'm starting to get a bunch of information all at once. Where would I even begin to talk about some of this? All right, here's the idea that we're in a peaceful place. So now the sensation of the mundane, this place is the same all the time, so it aggravates me, it angers me, all right? So there's a lack of peacefulness on the inside because we're in the same old boat. So that creates sound of disappointment. So we're trying to still even the pond of response and disappointment in order to just enjoy the sound of what's beautiful here. But there's an inability to be a part of the beauty that surrounds you, okay? As it feels like the same old story, but my guides are showing me that even if in real life you were to take the same boat out into the middle of this water body, put the pole in, that there's going to be days where there's birds singing, or it's going to be quiet. There's going to be clouds that are covering the sun, or there'll be no clouds at all. There's going to be wind. There's always going to be change, always change, even if it's the same old scene. But there's something to be said here, because why don't we get back to those saw blades, which is the real problem that you've got to face? The problem of the mundane isn't the actual problem. You define the problem as fear of success. So the fact that this is coming up here is a comfort zone. To have this problem is better. To have this problem is better than the problem of actually facing all of the people that then are facing you back. Almost like we're going to judge you before you ever get started. So I feel like I'm not even keeping up here, okay? So there's even more to be said, because there's this sense of this still and peaceful you, actually. This same old boat you that doesn't mind it. But then there's this you that is full of these almost like mash 'em up puzzle pieces. And it's not... It's creating this sound of chaos because the picture doesn't add up, right? So it's just random pieces of information all smushed together. There's aggravation, there's frustration. This wants to disturb the sound of silence here, which is then creating a response of disappointment in the same old boat. All the while we're neglecting the sound of what is actually changed and what is different and what is beautiful and what is peaceful and what is an actual gift. All the while, all of this is then avoiding the saw blades, which rightly so, because who wants to get a saw blade to the face? But that seems to be built upon the idea of the possibilities of getting cut down, trying to avoid getting cut down. There's so much more to be said here. There's so much more to be said here, okay? So I'm starting to be exposed to this basement. And this basement, it's not finished, all right? So it's not a finished basement. But it does have these beams of wood. I feel so pathetic here. Like, what do we call these things? Studs? I don't know. But there's these beams of wood, and we put the insulation in there, we slap up the stuff, and then bam, finished basement. You're an unfinished basement, okay? Why are we in the basement of yourself right now? We're in an unfinished basement, but there's at least beams of wood, so there's the starting point of something more. And I get this hammer and this nail, and we're not building or finishing off this basement. We're actually tacking. It's like your fleshy body that has nothing. You have no bones, no muscles, no nothing. It's just like a skin, like a flag, okay? And we're just this skin body. We just nail this here to the wood beam. And that's ridiculously painful. You're nailing yourself to this unfinished basement, this wood beam. It's still moving, man. There's still more talking here. It's just another thing. I'm starting to hear this hyena sounding you. This hyena sounding you is the one that is nailing this. But now there's some other you that takes hyena sounding you that's laughing hysterically as it's like nailing an aspect of its own self, which is you, to this unfinished basement, okay? And now I'm starting to notice this is some kind of morbid museum of yourself, tacking yourself to the beams of wood. And I'm down here and I'm saying, oh my. You know, this isn't the penthouse of yourself. This is the basement of yourself. This is the museum of all the morbid things about you. Wow, what in the world have we got going on here? We've got this basement thing. We've got this saw blades thing. We've got this same old boat thing. We've got don't disturb the silence. Then we've got the mix match puzzle piece thing. We've got all of this stuff happening. So you're working on reconciling the mirror of yourself, which is why you're struggling to find the reliable mirror. What's the reliable mirror look like to you? It's almost like I am to tell you to give yourself the reliable mirror because you know what it looks like. You know what? There's another thing. Okay, so your energy field is like, just like telling me another thing. Okay, so it's kind of embarrassing, but you are the person that farted in church when it all was silent, and we know who you are. And we're repulsed by you. How dare you fart in church? All right, so that tells me that you're reconciling shame, attacks on yourself. You're trying to dodge the saw blades that you put there. You're trying to even heal from the saw blades that you let hit you, which is just you're healing from your own self-destructive or self-persecution. It's all kind of... all right, so okay. You're also trying to see your reflection here, which we're now in the basement of yourself with all these like painful parts. Okay, so we can take a look at them. And there's a lot. I mean, you're working through a lot right now. What is real? All of it. All of this. Same old boat. Okay. What am I, are the fish biting today? No. Will they ever bite? No. Fine, I'll listen to the birds. Stupid, same old bird. Are they? Are they the same old birds? Well, feels like it. Shh, you're disturbing the silence. Yeah, there you are over there. Farting in church. It's like, phew, phew. Oh, I'm dodging these saw blades. Oh my God. All this is happening. Okay, fear of success. Oh man. This is what I'm running into first, okay? So when I'm navigating towards your fear of success, you have all this in the way. All of this comes first. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. Let me get to this idea that you are successful. Okay, that's right. I was saying you have to give yourself the reliable mirror. So the reliable mirror is what? All right. One thing that I find is that there's a physical response that gives us almost like a digestible sensation of then the truth. Okay, so if the truth is my stomach drops when I think about, I'm humiliating myself, just existing in the presence of people, and I feel disgusted and disgusting, and I don't know how to make it stop. So there's this physical response you're getting. You're going to have to become the reliable mirror that says, that's not really the truth anymore. It's not the truth anymore. So the truth is changing. The truth is changing, and you might have to work on this one. You're gonna have to work on this, okay? You have to practice this, creating a different physical sensation through practice. All right. I also feel like you should make some mistakes, but that's gonna hurt too, But I don't feel like there's any other way around it, because you're going to feel like you're stuck in the same old boat that you want to get out of, but you're going to have to make some mistakes to get out of it, which aren't mistakes at all. It's just you conquering your fear of being present with the world, and the world then being present with you. All right, is there something... I'm just going to ask for one more thing. Okay, so the attitude, right? So you've got to give yourself the reliable mirror. So what is the reliable mirror? What is the truth about you? The truth that I'm stepping into is you're actually navigating a lot of information, sound, silence. You know, the saw blades we're avoiding, then the saw blades that cut you down, and you're trying to repair, but it seems to be all an idea of that then is cutting you down. And we could say somewhere in your soul journey, I guarantee there's real life memory of this that then is echoing and somehow useful right now, but they aren't showing me that for a reason. They're showing me this, they're showing it to me like this. So you're giving yourself the reliable mirror. Okay, is there anything else I could share? All right, they want to show me something else. You're kind of in a nucleus of a very small orb, and it's unbreakable material, and you have to somehow break out from the inside of unbreakable material. But I show you that you become one with the edges here of the orb. You just become one with the flesh of the orb. And now the orb is not containing you. You then are the orb. And I see that it's almost like you silenced yourself. You cupped your hands around yourself. You caught yourself, the little bug of yourself. But you want to break what cups you, what holds you, what contains you. It's like the bug breaking down the very jar that contains it. Seems like an impossible task, but you are the material of all things. And we're talking about reality or fabric of reality, or your idea of reality, or what reality tells you is the reality. And you're giving yourself the reliable mirror now, which means that you're navigating around everything based on what it is you want. You want then to be successful. So then fear comes before success. Fear of success. Now reliable mirror says, I am successful. So why are we putting fear first? Because the sensation is real, right? So the sensation is real. But we're working with the reliable mirror where the sensation of I'm amazing comes first. I'm amazing comes first. You're not nailing yourself to the wall or creating an impossible situation where you're spitting saw blades at yourself, then try to dodge your own saw blades. Like all this stuff. Now you can hear the sound of the music out there, which is the sound of the music in here. It's the beautiful things, right? The beautiful things. It's setting yourself free. That's another thing that I want to say is it feels like you've been kind of containing yourself or holding yourself back, but you're learning how to grow out of this, which then set yourself free. So you are setting yourself free. And then I start to hear the fart in church actually gives us all room to just say, wow, I'm so glad you did that. Yes! Yes, this day at church was awesome. You know? I swear everything happens for all the right reasons. Even if it's the inappropriate thing. It is so good. That you have to credit yourself for not being like, you actually did that. Oh my God. You know, it's kind of humiliating. That's the humiliating thing. But you're not a humiliation, you're a gift. You're the gift. You're the genuine gift, right? That's all I can share, man. Oh, I would love to stick around and continue to help you with this. I feel like we're figuring it out as we go, which that's what your journey is like for me. And so then your message then is you're going to figure it out as you go. Make sure to put success first. We don't know nothing about no fear, okay? And whatever the physical material sensation is, you're growing out of the container. And you're going to figure it out as you go. And feel safe being the one that farts in church and everybody knows. Because that is the type of almost like planted seed that is going to keep you in the same old boat that you're trying to get out of. So don't let those physical sensations manipulate you into basically living your life like a mannequin. Because you're also driving yourself a bit mad because you want to disturb the silence, but then maybe disturbing the silence is just putting yourself in the saw blades or whatever, the humiliating fart in church or whatever that you don't want to be, because now we're having to be exposed to you, you know, is like the fear of people seeing you, the fear of that. But it like, give us permission to welcome you, give us permission to love you, give us permission, you know, and then give yourself permission to then receive the success first, okay? Fear, I don't know where that is. All right, thank you for this. Thank you so much for this. I give you a big hug. And for all those watching, if I can help you with something, you need an outside the box perspective, a reliable mirror here. I'd be honored to support. You can book a session at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Also on Patreon, patreon.com/abbeynormalswisdomquest. Have a great day, everybody.